Okay, welcome back. This is video number 3 of 4, and we're going to talk a little bit about KiKiPa, the company, the third side of the triangle. We've talked about you, the personal data provider. We talked about them, the personal data subscribers, and now it's over to KiKiPa. And when I drew this diagram, I didn't really like it because it sort of makes it look like we're all in equal balance here, and it's not really like that. So I sort of changed it to sort of try and better reflect reality, and it's a bit more like this. You know, we talked in the previous example about British Airways. Them in this example, British Airways, you know, they would come to us and say, we want to have access to the community. We have to KYC them. We have to know that they really are British Airways, and that what that data they're asking for is reasonable. And that's a critical function that we as a company have to provide. So then when you and they and them interact, you can be confident that you really are interacting with British Airways, and they can be confident that they're interacting with a real person, not a bot, not a scammer. So the critical relationships here are on the bottom edge and the left-hand edge of the diagram. Between you and us, we don't even know who you are. We shouldn't try and know who you are. We don't need to know who you are. And that dashed line is representative of the fact that, you know, well, maybe you'll reach out to us for a help desk ticket or something, or you buy an adornment to your identity, or you'll interact with us in some way, and we would then adhere to the same terms and conditions as everybody else. But for the vast majority of people, we never know who they are, and that's part of why this is so transformational. KiKiPa, the technology provider, we've got to be available everywhere, right? You can get your sort of Apple Health app on Apple devices, for example, but you can't get it on your Android phone. And that's really frustrating for lots of people. You know, it's my data. Why have you stuck me in another walled garden? I think we've just discussed this at length, but it's important that we don't know who you are. In the beginning, because you've got to be realistic on a roadmap, you've got to start off by saying, what value can I give to users right at the beginning? And still have that long-term vision in your mind that we're sort of expressing as part of these early videos. That long-term vision means that you've got to think through the sequencing of that. And I know this is not a 1-year thing, a sort of flash in the pan thing. It's like it's a 5-10 year game we're playing here, and that's what I call a medium-term roadmap. This is also quite important. You know, we're going to start and build on Casper, and we're going to come out of the sort of crypto sphere, but the vision is much broader than that, right? If we sort of bunker and hunker ourselves down into the crypto world or into a single network, it's not going to have the impact that it deserves. You know, everybody from a guy on a feature phone in the desert somewhere, or in a rice field somewhere, with the most basic of technology, still has a right to have a digital identity, right? So we've got to get from the crypto world to the long tail of the internet, and beyond that to the global population. And that's what the vision is asking us to achieve. It's a big vision, but actually quite a small team of people can achieve this. If you look at things like Telegram, with Pavel Durov and that gang, they've got somewhere in the region of about 30 core team members. It depends on which article you read, but it's that kind of thing. If you think about WhatsApp as well, WhatsApp was a very large community with similar kind of sized teams. So in the near term, we've got to get funding and support such that we can go and run with a team of 20 to 40 people, somewhere in that range. And we have a plan for that, but we've got to be able to sustain that for many years, and that will allow us, through the strategy we've developed, to grow substantially and ultimately become a very significant thing and a force for good for the world, and that's our intent. Because our vision is quite different, we were granted 5 patents, 3 in the US, 2 in the EU. 3, the US patents relate to each of the corners of the triangle, which is why I've been talking about it in these videos. And our job is to build a technology that allows you to securely and easily interact with others. And if it doesn't make your life better, if it doesn't help you store your data in a way to make it easy for you and secure for you, it is going to be a problem, right? And I'm not a young man anymore. I'm quite a seasoned gentleman, and my father is in his 80s, and I always look at it through the lens of, it's got to be simple enough that anybody can use it, and I mean that. And a lot of what I see in the crypto world today is you've got to be a bit of a geek and a freak to actually pull it off, and we have to change that. The user experience in the crypto world today is crap, and it needs to improve radically. So I'll leave it there. That's a little bit about KiKiPa, the technology provider, and the third of the 4th videos. So I'll close by saying I'm Stephen Pollard, and I'm an ape on the internet. Thanks very much.